I'll put a link to the deck list in the notes as well. Definitely under the deck tech video. I'll try to remember to put it under all the videos though. Alright, what do we got going on here? We have 2 mana, nothing to do until turn 4. I think this is going to be a mulligan. Sort of the opposite problem here, but we're going to keep this. We will put back one of the gardens. The binding will be active quick to get us out of any super early game jams, and hopefully we draw something relevant quickly. So the lead island, it's probably that mono blue deck if I had to guess. Hard to be sure, but it's that there's that Delver deck going around. Yep, this should be that deck. Some version of that mono blue Delver deck. So we're gonna be running Make Disappear, possibly some other counter spells, whole lot of card draw. Spared is blue, green, white. Green, white. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much. Play this one. Puts our ley line on when we have our second ley line in hand, so that's good. So we can deal with early threats. They have the 1 mana card that phases out a creature. That's one we have to look out for when it comes to ley lining into stuff. And hopefully they tap out a little too much. So they impulse here. It's fine. I've seen a few versions of this. One of them runs the 5/5 that gets easier to cast with each instant in the graveyard. I think some of them don't. I've seen a few versions of the deck. We will find out. Alright, I guess we're just going to put a headquarters out here. Feeling a strong lack of early game plays this game, but I also expect a lot of countering. Play farmland and go. I can't imagine their hand isn't filled with counter spells. There's the Jin. We are definitely going to bind that, and if they counter spell, we get a War Chief next turn. So this should be okay. We get a War Chief next. So let's do this. If they want to do all that other good stuff, that's okay too. They're probably going to play that 1 mana. Yeah, that thing. Do we care enough to do this again? I think we do, actually. I think we do this again. And if they burn another card to get by it, too, that's alright. I think we prefer this to be gone, then we get the War Chief on an empty board. Okay, that's fine, too. That's totally fine. Do we want to blitz this? No. Oh, we can't. I'm sorry. Blitz is 6. No. Never mind. So that lands. We get our 3 life. And we have our friend the War Chief here. I assume we're going to get Jin back out here. There's no good trade for them here, which is nice. Let's attack. Alright. We'll play the Deathcap Blade. Play the Loam Speaker and start turning some of these lands into creatures if we need to. Them countering this is not a huge deal. And then we'll cycle this next turn. I think it's safe to cycle this land at this point. So there's a bunch of Delvers, a bunch of counter spells, a bunch of this like creature protection stuff. I've seen this run anywhere 1 to 3 Fading Hopes. I've not seen a full play set. Doesn't mean it's not in there. I just haven't seen it. So let's pass. We'll take the shot. It's totally fine. They have the Death Touch guy, probably. The more recent builds of it I've seen have that. We'll get a card here. Excuse me. They're probably contemplating running another threat out, maybe another Djinn, versus leaving up certain amounts of mana. So we can swing with a land next turn too. Alright, they're gonna play Ledger Shredder. That's fine. Let's cycle this. Not sure what we're waiting for here. Just let me draw my card. Thank you. Get our Bank Buster. Never mad to have one of those out. This card is just so incrementally ridiculous. It just draws cards forever, and then it can be a good blocker / threat. Just a really cool card. Alright. Well, the first thing we're going to do is attack. Our lands can actually crew the Bank Buster, which I don't know how important that is, but it's kind of interesting. Swing with the War Chief. Let's play Swamp. Play Bank Buster. Counter Bank Buster. We'll play Mirror Breaker. I think we play Mirror Breaker anyway. If they make disappear, they have to sack something to kill it. If they counter it, it's not the end of the world. They do trigger the Ledger Shredder. I wasn't thinking about that. That was foolish. I don't think it's the end of the world, but we should have just probably held for... we probably hold for that reason. That's probably... Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure how important that is, to be dead honest. We can still draw a card off of Reckoner also. So they're going to Impulse. So we get the War Chief sent back. Fair enough. Yeah, I think we probably play this even if this gets to grow. I still should have thought about it. That's more of an issue than the actual play. This thing hits hard in the air. We're definitely going to bring in the Spider. Yep, this is one of the cards I expected to see. I think the Spiders are actually going to be pretty good in this matchup. Let's draw a card. Ooh, Comet War is good. If we can land it. Terra Sunder's good too. I don't think we're discarding anything. Alright, so... we have to try and kill the Djinn. I'm just thinking the best way to do it. I guess the best way to do it is with Terra Sunder, because they're not, if they have a make disappear in hand, because they discarded one, which makes me think they have another counter spell in hand. We can pay for it, or they have to at least sacrifice a creature. They attack with Terra next turn. I can turn a land into a 3/3 and block with both. Oh, no, it's only sorcery, excuse me. That's not true. Okay, so they do that. This is probably just game. But we don't really have a choice. I guess we could have done that on their turn, but that gives them another chance to draw a counter spell. I don't know. Alright, let's get into it. Yeah, I'm not sure doing it on their turn is actually better because they get more chance to draw counter spells and draw spells and everything else. I want the Green Widows in this game for sure. Getting Terra Sunder past the counter spells doesn't seem great. And Green Widow is going to function largely as a removal spell. Yeah, I don't think that's going to do anything for us. Alright, what don't we care about? I think this is too expensive and not really doing much. Let's take 2 of those out. So anything else here? I guess we can maybe one more Urtai and one less Kami War. Let's try that. Alright, game 2. We'll be on the play. Yeah, this is a keep. We have our mana. Our mana dork into Fable, Leyline. Yep, looks like a good hand. They mold, I'm pretty sure. We'll know in a moment. Yep. Go down to 6. Illusion and Lump Speaker. Excuse me. We're going to consider. They had to toss a Jin, which makes me think that they're either a little bit mana short. Well, there we go. And they concede. I'm not sure they should have conceded that quick, but they're probably going to lose the match. Alright, so they're going to be on the play now. I don't think that changes a ton here. Might be harder to land some of our first few turn spells, but not enough that I think we make any major changes here. Yeah, let's play it out. I mean, that deck can function on like 2 to 3 mana. It obviously is better with more, because then it can play threats with counter, backup, and protection, but I'm not sure I'd snap concede there. They probably would have conceded after my turn of playing Mirror Breaker anyway, but... This is a mulligan. Either one of these is green mana. It'd be totally different, but we can't have 2 planes and then no white cards. That seems pretty bad. Yeah, this is better. It's not great. We'll get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of not herd migration. We need the we may need to cycle. Get rid of the Kami War. Yeah. Definitely not my favorite opening hand because this is slow. Like our line here is very slow. Hopefully it doesn't flip on turn 1. Well, that's going to be a problem. They have a negate in hand. Alright. And let's get our headquarters out there. Next turn, we'll see what they do to leave mana up. If they leave mana up, I don't think we just run Fable Breaker into it. I think it's more important to have this come untapped than be able to cycle Herd Migration on their turn. I might be wrong about that, but I do think that this is us having the mana quicker is probably better. Because we want to make sure we can play something next turn. No more land? Cool, no more land. Alright, let's play Koilos. Oh, we don't even have the mana for a Fable Breaker. Let's play the Celestis. That way if we draw land, we get to go into the War Chief, which is true of the Lone Speaker too, but they're going to have more ways of removing the Lone Speaker than the Celestis. If they have Spell Pierce, so be it. Yeah. Take another 3 from a Friendly Aberration here. Yeah, that's not great. Card. We will discard. I'm going to discard the Herd Migration. Yeah. Draw that. Let's do this. I'm going to play the War Chief. Hopefully they have the negate up and they don't have a make disappear. It's kind of unlikely. The other option is run out the Loam Speaker. Actually, maybe it's the Loam Speaker into Fable. Doesn't seem terrible. Or is it just better to run the creature out and then run another one out next turn? Yeah, I think we just play the War Chief and hope that they don't have a make disappear. Or Essence Scatter, something of that ilk. Alright, it lands. It might get bounced, but we still get the life gain, which is really important right now. Yeah, here comes the Fading Hope. That's okay, we get our life gain. Buys us another turn. They probably wouldn't let that hit if they could send it to the graveyard. So we're gonna play it again. If they counter it, I'd be surprised, but life, you know, is what it is. Gaining this life is at least buying us time though, because we're basically getting extra turn off these this every time. All right, Witness Protection. That does leave them down a mana though. So I think we're going to, well, let me get this out here. Let me think for a minute. I think we're going to play the Loam Speaker and then bind the Aberration. I think that, or do we just play the, maybe we just play the War Chief. Well, let's attack with this thing. Let's attack with the legitimate business person, Rhino. Not sure. It's better to clear. This gets another. Although they may have the thing that fades it out anyway, which would kind of be annoying. I think we just play the War Chief. So that was probably a land he pulled, if I had to guess, yeah. You get Fading Hoped. So he's got the negate mana up. I think we're just going to... I think we're going to Fable... No, I think we're just play the War Chief again. Let them do something else. And if they don't play mana next turn, I think we're going to Fable Breaker and then Binding. Or Binding then Fable Break. Whichever one we want to land more at that point. Which I think it's going to be the Binding, because they just don't have... If they don't have any threats, we just win. If they can't deal with a 5-3, then we just win anyway. I'm not super sure what they're considering here. I don't think they have any counters that can deal with this. Yeah, there shouldn't be any point where they drew them. I probably should have attacked first. These Fading Hopes are really not that big of a deal because they're buying us extra turns here. You know, for obviously it didn't happen, but alright, it's another land. Okay, I think we can handle that. So, I think what we're gonna do. So I'm guessing they have the 1 mana phase out in their hand. I'm just wondering how much I care. Really could go for another land here. So that my ley line was cheaper. 3 mana seems like a lot. Guess we play the... Maybe we blitz this one. Yeah, let's blitz this one. See if we can draw a land. It'll leave me a 4/4. They've already done a lot of the Fading Hopes. How many Fading Hopes have they? 1, yeah, 3 Fading Hopes. So if they have another one, so be it. But we really could use a land here. Specifically when we don't have. This needs to go down. This needs to go down in price. It's not really what I meant. I guess it helps, but it's hard to hit domain with these in the deck. Okay. Alright. Well, they're tapped out, so we're going to call that some good news. Wow, we really just can't get there. Let's toss one of these Infernos. We're not going to have time to cast more than one of these, for sure. Let's play this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 7 mana. I think we just... Probably... Do we Herd Migrate? Nah, it's really iffy. I think what we're going to do is just play another War Chief. Can't imagine something else is a better idea. Get our life. And I guess we play the Loam Speaker or the... No, I guess we play the Bank. Does it really matter? Or do we just cycle the Herd Migration so we can actually lower this next turn? Yeah. No, I guess we just play the Loam Speaker because, I mean, that gives us extra mana anyway. We're not in great shape here, but let's see what happens. I don't think this is a great matchup. I don't think it's the worst matchup. So we're going to take 7 here. We'll trade with the Terror. They may have another one. Deck's probably running 4 of them. Alright, well, this is going to go back. We don't have a Garden out, so that would help. Yeah, I think we're going to keep that and get rid of this other Inferno. Yeah, so let's do that. This can be negated. First, let's... So, he's gonna do 7 in the air next turn. Interesting. There's anything we could. So we got to get rid of something, or at least try to. Well, let's Bank Buster and see if they counter it. Well, let's attack first, I guess. I don't want to use. We need all our land. Okay. With them having the gate in hand, there's not a lot of ways we win this game. They basically have to screw up for us to win. See, that's incredible if that's actually... If they have another negate in their hand, then none of it matters. Well, yep. That resolves. Let's lay line of binding. Well, I mean, if this is negate, we just lose anyway. Yeah. Okay. Alright, GG.